Hello everyone, this is Robin with Robin's Creation, and I'm here to share my alternates for the March 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit titled Here's to You. So in this kit we received a great stamp set, sorry for the glare, and also some fun stencils, as this was anniversary month for Paper Pumpkin, so they usually include something extra. So I store those right in with my Paper Pumpkin Kit. And if you don't already have a demonstrator and would be interested in starting Paper Pumpkin with me, you will receive a sleeve with an image to store all your Paper Pumpkin kits, as well as a spot, a square inch of coordinating cardstock, so that if you store your inks upside down like I do to keep the ink fresh, you can also see the color there, and I write it in with a white marker or black marker if it's a lighter color. So let me get started with the alternates. So a lot of these alternates I found on Pinterest or YouTube. I was having trouble coming up with my own, as these were solid images, but I will go ahead and share what I have. So in this kit, you would receive 4 of these cards and 4 of these cards to make. And what I generally do is cut them in half to extend the kit. So let me start with this one. This one is just the full card front image that they sent. And I trimmed it a little bit or matted it, excuse me. I don't think I trimmed this one. Matted it with Mossy Meadow cardstock. And then also stamped the tree stamp that we get in the kit in Mossy Meadow and applied it here. And I did have a retired set that had this little boat. There are current sets with boats that would fit fine there, or I believe a while back, let me see if I can find that. I think I dug it out. Yeah, this set, way back from 2018, if you are a longtime Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you could easily put that little boat there. So that's just an idea for you. Sorry for the glare on these. Okay, and stamp the birds that were included for the kit. I really like these birds because in the past, these were our birds. Very simple. And these give a variety, some with wings high and low. So I really like that set. I also ran this before I put it on through the Subtle 3D embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it gives it just a little more texture. And by the way, that embossing folder is retiring, and I would highly recommend you get it. You can use it on just about anything to give it some texture. Okay, and I did the alternate sentiment that was with the stamp set down here. And I created this tag with the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. So I just trimmed one end with this side and mounted it flush there. Okay, so that's that card. The other way I did, and I know I saw this one on YouTube or something, but I really loved it. So I cut this frame, putting 2 of the rectangle stitch dies together, taping them together, and then running it through my cut and emboss machine to create this frame. On this one, I do know you have to trim the scenery, your card front, to match the frame. And then I just mounted it up with a lot of dimensionals all the way around, since it was so small. Okay, then put the trees here, just line that up. I also have the same boat from a retired set, stamp multiple birds, and then this is matted with Mango Melody cardstock, also embossed with the Evergreen 3D embossing folder, and I really like how that ties in with the trees. And then I put the sentiment here, and I'll just tell you, because this is real and it happens, I had a dimensional that was sticking out a little under the frame, so I just put my sentiment there to hide it, and no one will know. So that's just being real with you guys. All right, okay, on to the next two cards included with our kit. Again, I believe I saw this on Pinterest. I changed it up just a little bit. I put the cloud that was included with our kit because I didn't know what to do with all those. I hadn't used them yet, but I thought it looks pretty good right there. So this scene is on a card. So I was very careful to line up my circle layer dies. I believe that's the name of them. And you just barely get all of it. Like if you're off a little bit, I think you're going to get a little white, but you could color that in. To be safe, you could go with the next largest circle die and then just have a little more white frame. Again, this is white scallop to match that, okay? This is the envelope liner that I cut into, I believe that's 2 inches by 5.5 inches. So that way you can make 2 of these cards with 2 of these card fronts. Again, I preferred this sentiment this month in this stamp set, so I did have to make my own labels because they didn't fit on the labels. And again, I used the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. Okay, so let me give you a tip with this punch. I really like it because you can create several different types of labels for your cards, and all you need to do is whatever size you want it to end up, like I think I wanted this one to end up 3 inches, you want to cut your cardstock to 1/2 inch by 3 1/4. So add 1/4 inch if you're going to punch on both ends to give it a decorative end, because well, you can't really see it here. So your paper is going to go up to there. So it cuts off about 1/8 inch each time. So real easy, just whatever size you want your label to be, add 1/4 inch if you're going to do both ends, and then you'll end up with the right size. Okay, so this is the Pretty Peacock card bases. I cut those all up to use as layering pieces. And then I matted, my first layer is Calypso Coral cardstock. And this is also embossed. I don't know if you can see that. Bring it as close as I can so maybe you can see it. And then I added some jewels just to bling it up. Okay. And then this card kit, or this card alternate, excuse me, is fairly easy. I took my trimmer and just laid the, I cut off this mountain scene from the card itself, and I laid up my trimmer so that this was laid up with the ruler, and then I had just about that much on each time I went around and cut it out. So I cut it out with the, I believe this is Petal Pink color. I could double check real quick. Oh, washi just fell. Yes, it was Petal Pink. And so I wanted to keep that on there. If you mess up and just want to cut that out and you have plenty of Petal Pink on the opposite side, you could mat it. Okay, then I took the Pretty Peacock card base, cut it to match as a mat, and did a subtle 3D embossing folder with that. Another layer of Calypso Coral to kind of bring out the sunshine. And then I created my own label with the Classic Label Punch, and I believe this is retiring, and it's a pretty staple label maker. Quick, punch it out and do your sentiment. This sentiment is from, I believe, the Happy Thoughts. Let me see if this is it right here. Yes, it is. It's a Happy Thoughts cling mount stamp, and I really loved all of these sentiments. So I thought that was a good one for this one. Okay, put the trees from the kit here on dimensionals and stamped the birds, added some bling, tied my bow before I put on the Pretty Peacock. That's not a bow, that's a knot. And that's it for the, so I made 2 each of these cards. So 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. Okay. Now to extend your kit, if you have a few extra supplies in your stash, here are some things I did. So This paper was also an envelope liner, and I took the tailored tag punch right here and just cut out several of them and then put them on Old Olive cardstock, which was a coordinating color in this kit, and then stamp my sentiment. Now this is from an old kit called Lots of Happy, but lots of sentiments would fit on there, or you could just do your strip of happy birthday right on top of that. Okay, I did a little tassel of the thread from the kit, added some bling, and that was it. So some tips on this is you don't always, if you just have a small piece of your envelope liner, you don't always have to have a full piece because you're going to end up trimming around those pieces. So you can get several of these out of one envelope liner, okay, including the flap. So there is that alternate. Now this alternate, I think I got inspiration online again. I was having trouble coming up with my own stuff, but thanks to our community on YouTube and Pinterest, there are lots of ideas out there to find something you would like. So this one, again, I did cut this to 1 7/8, and the reason I did that is the Petal Pink card that you get, you know, they're 4 1/4 inches high. I guess I should do it this way. 4 1/4 inches high. So I wanted to be able to get 2 of these. So I made this 1 7/8. So this could be 2 1/8. And that way you can get 2, excuse me, out of the 4 1/4 side of the Petal Pink. All right, and this is the stamp, the flower stamp from the kit. I believe in crushed curry, because I don't have Bumblebee. I can't have it all. I have to make some cuts somewhere, and so I just did crushed curry. And a thank you from another kit. I'm trying to remember which kit. If I think of that, I'll show you at the end. And then this butterfly is from an old paper pumpkin, I believe the 2017. Let me see if I got that out to show you. It was called Flora and Flutter, and so this is the butterfly that I colored with my Calypso Coral marker. And this Calypso Coral paper is also embossed with a 3D embossing folder, and then added some bling. Okay, my next 2 alternates, I used that other envelope liner that I made with the tailored tag punch, and I made a birthday card. So let me tell you, this punch is retiring, and I think it's a must-have for quick and easy birthday cards with just about any kit. So I did cut this with coordinating cardstocks. Again, I had So Saffron, not Bumblebee, Old Olive, Calypso Coral. And then this tag is from one of my favorite, I believe it's Tasteful Label dies. And then this is an old retired Happy Birthday. Again, you could just use the kit's little Happy Birthday strip and put it right there, and I think it'd be just as cute, or maybe even across the balloons. I used the linen thread in our kit as balloon strings. Added some dimensionals, put a little strip of Calypso Coral cardstock there just to separate that. Embossed the pretty peacock, again with that subtle embossing folder for some additional texture. I hope you can see that. And that's done. Okay, let me show you these 3 cards, and then I'll go over the details. So from one envelope liner, you can get these 3 cards. Of course, you have to add your other supplies, but I just used one envelope liner. So let me start with the envelope liner. So you'll first want to cut it at, let me get my ruler here. Yeah, 4 inches. 4 inches, you know, long way where the flap is up here. And then you'll cut 3 1-inch strips of that. So then you're left with this piece. So this piece is, I put it on the negative piece when I cut my frame on that first alternate card I showed you. So this is it, and then it cuts out that, and so that fit perfectly on there. I thought that was a great use of that. And that was easy. I just tied on a bow with our linen thread. I did put this on a Calypso Coral cardstock embossed with the Pinewood Planks 3D embossing folder. Made the same tag. This was my favorite sentiment. As you can tell, I've used it on most of the cards. I think it could be helpful for lots of things. Okay, and then put on some bling, and that card was done. So then I took the 3 strips and matted it on some Petal Pink. This is from Cut Up a Card Base. It was included in your kit. I believe it's 3.5 by 4 1/4. And then this is the stitch label dies that are retiring. So these are a staple for all kinds of labels, and I'm really disappointed they're retiring because it's my go-to set all the time. And then this is a retired punch, but any punch of something to go behind it to kind of highlight your sentiment would work. I put on some, this is retired ribbon. It's actually Island Indigo, but it actually goes pretty good with a Pretty Peacock. So this is the Pretty Peacock card base embossed with the Floral 3D embossing folder, I think is the name. Okay, you can see that. And so then with the top of that envelope liner, I used it here as the bottom. And this is from the Sun stencil that was in our kit. And then I used this sentiment from, I believe it was the June Paper Pumpkin. Let me see if I have it out. I do. Sorry, I have some leftover pieces there. But so I did the Sending Sunshine in Pretty Peacock ink. Those are leftover pieces I have to use. And made the sun. I did this in Daffodil Delight. I thought it looked fine, even though it's not a listed coordinating color, because I wanted my sunshine to be really bright and light. And then before you glue this down on your white, just make sure that you don't put adhesive there, so you can kind of tuck your little trees in underneath the envelope liner. Okay, stamp some birds. Pretty easy finish there. So those are my alternates for this month, besides the one I shared in the earlier video, which is this one that I did with the mountain stencils. So I'll put a link in the description box below for this card in case you're interested in seeing the steps I did to do that. And so I will also have a link below for my blog of pictures of these cards, as well as all the supplies I used to make these cards. So I hope you enjoyed these alternates, and I hope you're enjoying your kit. And again, if you do not have a demonstrator and are already a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I would appreciate your business, and you will receive, like I said, the stamp set sleeve, the spot, and also all the instructions, written instructions for how I made these cards. So if you're new to my channel and have not subscribed, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm just going to lay these all out here for one last peep. And I don't think they're all going to fit. So again, thank you for watching and have a great day. Thank you.